Good evening, everyone. It is Friday, October 9th. No, it's not. It is Saturday, October 9th. The time is 6:02 p.m. and the temperature outside is around 19 degrees Celsius. And I am here at Greenwood Station. And for this one, I'm going to head on up to Danforth Avenue. And then I'll walk east through Danforth Village. And I'll finish up, I think, around Victoria Park Station or so. I'm just taking the mask off. So this is Linsmore Crescent that I'm currently on. And here is Danforth Avenue. And just to the west of here is Greenwood Station. And the Allonby Theatre, which is now a Circle K convenience store, is just off in that direction. And that was an old theater that was known for screening the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And you know what? I have done a few walks along East Danforth here before, but they always seem to be on the north side of the street. So I'm just crossing over to the south side. Okay, that didn't sound very appropriate. And there's a Rudy. Last Sunday I ordered my dinner from there on a live stream I did. That would have been from the Yonge and Eglinton location. And it looks like maybe I want to be on the other side of the street just for this portion. There's a bit more happening over there. There's the Sidewalk Cafe. Make sure the bike lanes are clear.
About you, I said that all the others were, but that wasn't really true. You, yeah, you, this song's about you. Please don't be alarmed, it's 'cause I really miss you sometimes. I hope that that's forgivable. I know it isn't logical, but when something pretty magical just turns to dust. You, yeah, you, this song's about you. I said that all the others were, but that wasn't really true. You, yeah, you, the song's about you. Please don't be alarmed.
Hopefully I don't pick up a copyright ID match for that. That sounded pretty good. Maybe I'll stay on the north side just for a few more blocks. So to the west, which is behind me in the other direction, would be Greektown. It's a cool looking spot. I don't think anyone was in there though. Coal Mine Theater. So this area is known as East Danforth and sometimes Danforth Village. And it's located roughly between Greenwood Avenue, which is to the west of me. It's actually a few blocks west of Greenwood Station. And to the east it ends at Victoria Park Avenue, which is where the former borough of Scarborough begins. And the subway runs just north of Danforth, parallel to it. It did rain earlier in the day, and it's supposed to rain again later tonight. But for the most part, I think I'll be avoiding that this walk. And I'd just like to do a little shout out and say thanks to all the channel and Patreon members that support the channel, including the God tier members who are by name Chuck Diamond, Danny Kamen, Where's Perry, Shepherd87, Yogi, who is also a mod in the live streams, as well as Ron B. The God tier members all pay $20 a month to support the channel, which is very much appreciated. And I think there's a little over 140 members in total if you add the Patreon and YouTube members. Here's Coxwell Avenue. So to the south of here at Gerrard Street, you'll find Little India. And it is 6:11 p.m. and I think sundown tonight is around 6:45. And just north of here at Coxwell is Coxwell Station. Although the stations don't actually front Danforth Avenue. And just to the south here is an old TTC car house. And that dates back to 1915. This stretch of Danforth used to have streetcars on it. And I think they serviced all kinds of transit vehicles there back in the day. And in the mid-1960s, they opened up the subway and did away with that And there's not even a bus service that runs along Danforth. Well, there is at night that replaces the subway when it closes, but not by daytime. You just walk around with a knife, splicing cables, it looked like. So the next subway station up, I think, will be Woodbine, and then Main Street Station, and then I'll be walking by Shoppers World and heading up to Danforth, or rather Victoria Park Station. I think staying on the north side was the right call. Byron bikes, e-bikes and mobility scooters. And they make those e-bikes look pretty convincing if those aren't actual motorcycles. I was on the e-bike earlier today doing a live stream. As this morning, the channel hit 60,000 subscribers. So a big thanks to everyone who clicked the subscribe button at some point in the past, 2.5 years that I've had the channel. I think we're going on 3 years, actually. This has never been a particularly busy stretch in the city, despite the subway and all the retail, even pre-pandemic times. Although there is starting to be more and more high-rise developments, or at least development notices going in along Danforth. It kind of makes sense to intensify this stretch. And at Victoria Park, that's where the subway veers to the north and heads up through Scarborough, coming to an end. Well, it turns into Line 3, which is a different rail network that'll be shutting down next year, I think.
Well, also
I'll take you up to Scarborough Town Center. And there's a 3-stop subway extension going in place to replace Line 3. So all of a sudden there's a fair bit of transit development going on. The Eglinton LRT is set to open soon, and shortly after that the Finch LRT will be open, or more specifically the Finch West LRT. And then this 3-stop extension along with the Ontario Relief Line, which will also cut through the east side of town.
so cute. He's so cute. So cute, right? Alright, come on, dude. Let's go to the love.
This is Woodmount Avenue. I think this might officially be where East Danforth or Danforth Village starts. I think the entire stretch is known as East Danforth.
If it's an emergency,
They ruined the Danforth. They ruined
It's the Unicorn Cafe. These bike lanes here went in last year. I think this is technically still a pilot project, but there's no way it won't be a permanent thing. Although for some reason they only extend over as far as Dawes Road and they don't go all the way to Victoria Park Station. I think that was a bit of an oversight. And here's Woodbine Avenue. I rolled through here a few nights ago on the e-bike. I was live streaming. I started at O'Connor to the north and I took it south all the way down to the Beaches neighborhood. And maybe this is a good chance to cross over to the south side. There's a look back west. And I will be watching the Wilder Fury fight tonight. And of course, by the time you watch this, if you're interested in that sort of thing, you'll already know the results. But it just occurred to me, I need to pick up a beverage or two for that. So perhaps I'll make a stop at a beer store or LCBO. Or heck, I could even pick up a cider from a wine rack. There's the world famous Flamingo Bar and Grill. And as you can tell, it's certainly starting to get a bit darker. There's a hot pot restaurant. And yes, it's a Saturday night. There's not much in the way of people out. That's another cruiser moving pretty good. And I think that guy is on the same e-bike that I have that just went by. That's a Hungarian restaurant, and they had a live entertainer. It's been a while since we've seen that sort of thing. Okay, and I think there's not much of interest on the south side again for a few blocks. Might be a good time to cross back over north. There's a fairly new development. There's a Kia dealership and a fairly large Honda dealership. And I should have mentioned, it is the Thanksgiving long weekend. Thanksgiving being on Monday. And that's probably having some impact on the lighter crowds. Although, like I said, it's not usually the busiest of spots. I'm not really celebrating Thanksgiving this year. That might just be why I keep forgetting to bring it up in my videos, but better late than never. 24.5 minutes in. There's a new development going in. And those apartment buildings down there are right around Main Street. That's where Main Street Station is. Rock Goddess. You're definitely a ways from downtown when you see that. $4 for 3 minutes. Good luck washing your car in 3 minutes. I think 6 might be a stretch. I remember having a car and trying to finish in time at those places. It never really seems to work out. There we go. Danforth Village. There's another e-bike dealer. And there's a Sobeys, which is a rather high-end supermarket. There's a vinyl shop and cafe. There's definitely an interesting mix of businesses here. And most of the homes in this area are single-family low-rise or 1 or 2 story. Of course, a home would be low-rise. And they typically go for around $1 million. As you go south and you enter what they call the upper beaches, and the beaches, they start to go for a lot more than that. And same if you head west towards Greektown and the Plater Estates. There's a very suburban style KFC. And coming up is Main Street. And just to the south is the Main Street GO station. I've recorded a walk down Main Street. It's a rather nice stroll. That takes you down to Kingston Road. And this is where the 503 Kingston streetcar winds up. Or does it? I know the 506 Carlton does. I might be wrong on the 503 Kingston. I think there's actually a turnaround loop at Kingston Road just south of here. And we're on the home stretch. There's just one more subway station to go, and that's the final one, Victoria Park. I think that little girl noticed my camera. There's a 20 bus. I'm not sure what route that follows. I think it just appears on this east end of the Danforth. And either I'm not paying attention or I just haven't spotted a place to buy a drink. 20 Cliffside to Main Street Station. There we go. There's a Canadian Tire. So not too far from here is Dawes Road, where the bike lane ends. And to the south of here, well, further to the east, right at Victoria Park in Danforth pretty much, and then straight south, is an interesting community called Crescent Town. I covered that in a video earlier this year. There's a plaza. There's a lot of these furniture stores. Sort of not major brand names. I think they're all considerably cheaper than what you'll find at the big stores like CB2 and EQ3. That guy is on a moving e-bike. He's in the club. So here's where the bike lanes end. But they do turn north up here. I don't know if that guy was talking to me, but if he was, that wasn't very nice of him. I'm gonna see if I can remember when I edit to go back and listen to what that girl said right at the start of the video, because that was not very pleasant. There's a bike shop. There's the old home of the ice cream factory outlet. Now currently home to nothing. Looks like a guy getting into his lift. And here's a Leon's, and that is $17.79, but it reclines. I kind of want to get a love seat like that. There's a decent sectional for $24.99. I'd like to upgrade my love seat at some point. And Shoppers World is coming up on the right, so I might as well just stay on the north side here. And there is a country style donuts. That's kind of the third tier coffee shop. Below Coffee Time. And that's below Tim's. But growing up, there used to be a whole lot more country styles and coffee times. I think as coffee shops went more upmarket, we saw less and less of those two chains. Tim Hortons was able to grow, but Coffee Time and Country Style not so much. They have tried to reinvent themselves a few times. And we do have Second Cup and Timothy's, which also seem to be on the decline. Those are kind of Canadian Starbucks clones. There seems to be a crowd of people at the next intersection. Bangladeshi cuisine. What is this place? The Bridal Hub. That's a store selling saris. There's Shoppers World, anchored by a Shoppers Drug Mart, a Staples, and a Metro supermarket. And I think there's a Burger King on the corner there at Victoria Park, which is just coming up. I remember recording a walk along this part of Danforth before. That is where I went, right after the walk. There's looking towards Crescent Town. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that's where Kiefer Sutherland grew up. Again, I might be way off on that. But for some reason, his name popped into my head when I looked that way. This place has a crowd. Dhaka Kebab. But I have not seen an LCBO or beer store. I probably walked by a few near the start of the walk before it occurred to me to look for them. There's a Church's Chicken, Ritz Caribbean Foods, which is not open, and a Burger King right next to it. So here is the border into Scarborough. There's a sign here pointing to the Upper Beaches to the right and Crescent Town to the left. And there you go, there is walk along East Danforth. I'm gonna head south here down into the subway station, or rather up to the subway station. And I think it would have made sense, logistically speaking, to keep those bike lanes rolling all the way to Victoria Park here and then just up to the station. Well, ideally, they would run all the way through Scarborough. And that tower way, way off in the distance is just north of Eglinton Avenue. And that's a stretch known as the Golden Mile. I'm really hoping we get a better zoom on the next DJI Pocket camera. And it looks like I'm going to miss this chance to cross here. Or not, there's no traffic coming that way. And that's a perfectly legal street crossing. I think that car was turning too slow for that minivan's liking. I talked about these cars as if they're sentient and have personalities. Here's Denton Avenue, and I think just north of the station here is Dentonia Park, which is a golf course. It's a city-managed golf course. There's a lot of towers that have sprung up in this area, probably because of the subway station. Oh, and that tower seems to have a shiny new P on top. That is Crescent Town. And I guess this counts as a Scarborough video now. One of the reasons I don't record so much out in Scarborough is a lot of it looks kind of like this. And now that I have the e-bikes, I'll probably be making my way through these areas more. It's more interesting to cover an area like this on a bike than by foot. And it looks like they're going to squeeze some buildings in this lot here. It's probably TTC property. They'll be selling it off or leasing it out and getting some revenue out of it. All right, I'm going to throw my mask on. There's a 24 Victoria bus. That'll be Victoria Park bus. That'll be heading up to Steeles Avenue, which is the northern border of the city of Toronto. And there's a walkway you could take over to Crescent Town just up there. And yay me, 10,000 steps. It's a rather low count for this time of day for me. So this is the westbound platform. Can't see any trains coming in from the west. And we'll get a look at Victoria Park and the Dentoni Park Golf Course. And on that note, I hope you enjoyed this walk along East Danforth. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. And if you wish to support the channel, there are links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership in the description. And I also have an Instagram account, if that tickles your fancy. Anywho, thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.
Line 2 towards the road. The next station is Main Street Station.